The mythologies of many worlds tell of a time when the gods walked the earth before, for varying reasons, they depart. Gaecia is not one of those worlds. They never departed. Coming into being at the beginning of the Second Age, the gods fought in the dark wars against the entities that came before them, driving them underground and claiming the surface world for themselves. They created the plants and animals of the world together, but each in isolation made their greatest works, the races of the world in their own image. The fledgling races looked up to their godly masters and worshipped them all equally, and the gods ruled them together. However, this way of living eventually proved unsustainable. The petty disagreements of the gods manifested in preferential treatment of their own creations and ignoring the ones of those they wished to spite. Centuries of squabbling and bickering eventually boiled over and turned into the Titan Wars. The gods fought each other, and the races of the world were dragged into the conflict. Generation upon generation fought one another, bleeding and dying at the behest of their gods, whose anger blinded them to the suffering of their children. It seemed like it would never end, that there'd be no resolution to their disputes, with each god too proud to ever admit fault. During the Battle of Scarlet's Peak, the unthinkable happened. Ulfgar, god of the dwarves, died. Caught off guard from a surprise shot by an elvish warrior, Ulfgar was dead.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Run With It. Tonight we'll be presenting episode 16 of Gaecia, a homemade Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign. I am Crazy Ferret, I'll be your dungeon master for the evening. I made this world, I'll be your guide through it. I very much hope you enjoy your stay. With me tonight is Britty.
Hello, I'm Britty. My audio quality is still going to be a bit echoey because I'm working out how to soundproof in place. I am playing Fleet, the level 5 Drow Monk, has just found her new best friend.
Matt.
Hello, I'm Matt. I'm playing Phoenix, our now level 5 Fire Ganassi Divination Wizard. So, enjoy the level 3 spells.
And Nat.
Hello, I'm Nat. I'm now playing Arlath, the level 5 Twilight Domain Cleric.
So-
do not die.
So we don't have Riley tonight, and Lumie is MIA. So if she joins, we'll have a full session. If she doesn't, then we'll have a shorter one, probably more RP focused. But yeah, we don't have any announcements at the beginning of the stream, I don't think. So
That I'm aware of.
yeah, we'll hop right in. Let me change episode 16. Yes, so last time on Gaecia, our group of people finished up in the town of Guxnam, where they discovered what they believed to be the source of the demon cultists' apparent lack of fear of death. I won't go into details here. It's kind of grisly, so
Kind of gross.
yeah. If you're interested, be sure to check out last week's VOD. Yes. So after parting Guxnam, they made their way to Tulina, then to Andmere, and then they started heading off towards Falari. Now, it seemed that a curious figure by the name of Arlath had been seeking certain people. In fact, he kind of picked up rumours of what happened in Guxnam about this interesting group consisting of a half-drow Fire Ganassi gnome and Asmar, not Asmar human, and one of those half icon words, and seemingly he was interested in meeting with this group, and so he decided to follow their footsteps, kind of picking up rumors from caravan drivers and stuff, and kind of slowly catching up to them. Now, while they were attempting to cross the river between Andmere and Falari, taking a detour to a smaller, less well-travelled bridge to avoid the tolls. A group of bandits appeared at both the front end and the far end of the bridge, essentially trapping them and suggesting they hand over all their goods. Our party decided, no, we're not into that, and instead decided to, I think, fairly accurately blend them, especially in Urashi's case, who just tanked half the encounter by herself, because barbarians. However, despite the fact they probably weren't really in much trouble, this stranger known as Arlath, this is the point where he caught up to them and he saw them going into combat, and so rushed down the kind of little hill to join them. Now, during this scuffle, emerging from the river, there appeared a kind of lithe drow figure, kind of dressed in kind of a black robe, mask over their face, and they were wielding some pretty nasty kind of looking metal, kind of almost knife-like nails on over each hand, and in one of them she carried this little hand mirror that she seemed to be using to guide herself somewhere. Now, using this, she guided herself towards Phoenix and lashed out towards him. Fortunately, she wasn't going for him. Instead, she was after his bag. And so as all his worldly possessions spilled out onto the bridge, she reached down, grabbed something small, then jumped back into the river. Phoenix attempted to pursue her, even diving into the river himself afterwards. However, he was unable to find her. And as the rest of the party were kind of just finishing clearing up, I think, one of the wargs, the archer and the leader got away. There was only a couple of the wargs and then the berserkers who actually died. Yes.
No, I believe we did get the leader. It was just the archer who scampered off.
Did the leader die? I can't remember. I thought you might have
The
run
leader
like
was
that.
on the side with Ash, so...
I want to say the leader got blended, but that's just because I believe everybody on that side.
I'm
of the
fairly
bridge
sure
got
because
blended.
he shouted towards the drow, this wasn't the deal, and then I think he broke off and disengaged after he jumped.
No, I'm pretty sure that's when Ash killed him and then the archer ran off.
I can't remember. It was probably not too important.
Probably won't come
yes.
back later.
It's probably not coming back to you guys anytime soon, but yes, the dust was settling, people getting back on horses. Oh no, sorry, yes, I remember now. And then you set off back along your journey, and then where we finished, you were right outside the city of Falari, outside the gates, with kind of elegant spires of this elvish city, kind of reaching towards the sky, almost like as many trees. And you slowly ride on down into town. So, as you kind of make your way onto the streets of Falari, yes, it is decidedly elven, from the people to the architecture. Whereas in Guxnam and even the other two cities you visited on your way here, there was at least a substantial presence of the natives of Cathania, so kobolds, lizard folk, and dragonborn. They are far less evident here. They are still here, but they are decidedly in the minority. Guessing from this, seems though perhaps the city might hold a bit more independence from the Empire than a lot of the other cities do. So the most common denominator is probably High Elves. Just pipping, hey, Lumie, you exist.
Hello. Lumie can't keep track of time.
That's all right. Yes, so chaos just beating out wild/wood elves in population. Now, Fleet, this is probably the first time you could argue that you blend into a crowd.
Yeah. It's
however,
very used
even
to
then-
standing out just as a base point. So having the ability to blend in general is a bit weird.
Yeah. So there are a few drow mingling about, and these are probably some of the first drow you've ever come into contact with. And yeah, you're blending in, but you're still standing out. You're able to appreciate her half drowness a lot more. Her skin is black, but is not coal black. Her hair is incredibly pale, but is not the pure snow white of these full-blooded drow. But you blend in far more than normal. And then there are a handful of humans, a couple of halflings, stuff like that. So as you ride into town, what do?
Well, finally arrived. Looks much as I remember it. Didn't stick around long, though.
I'm not entirely sure what I was expecting. This feels weird. I don't know, I'm just not used to seeing, me.
DM, passing through Wythy, kind of same architecture, or is it grander in Wythy, or it's got like a regional difference here, or is like Elven architecture like immediately do this?
This is probably a lot more urban, I guess might be the word to describe it. It's more close to a metropolis, I guess. It is decidedly a city. It's definitely like built and planned to be a city. Whereas Weether, it's kind of got, it's almost like London, where it started out very small, and as it grew, it just a massive sprawl. It wasn't really designed to be a city. It just kind of appeared.
It's got that more kind of newness to it.
New being a relative term.
Yeah, Elven terms.
Yeah, new in the order of cities, I guess, but obviously it's stood here for quite a while. Things seem to be a touch more utilitarian, perhaps here. However, it is still Elven, so it's still aesthetic AF. Whereas Weether generally prides itself on being especially beautiful. It is known throughout the world as probably the most gorgeous city, and it tries hard at that. It's a bit of a try-hard of a city. Whereas I say it's a bit more utilitarian, a bit more urban, a bit more a city designed to be a city.
Well, I didn't stick around long last time, and well, I certainly didn't stay in the kind of places we've been used to recently, so shall we go find the local Merryfall?
Yeah, sure. It's hard for me to take my eyes off everything. It's a lot.
Yes. It is quite a burden on the eyes.
Burden's a strong word. I was gonna say more exciting new opportunity, but suppose if that's your opinion.
So what kind of place are you from if Elven architecture is an eyesore?
The mountains. This is
famed for their elegance.
overtly flashy. What use is an engraving in a storm? Just sort of like pointing to the pillars on the buildings with these like swirly patterns. Like, what's the
I don't
point
know.
in this?
How about something to be worth weathering it?
We shall see.
Ash sort of quietly slips the little carved token she carries back into her pocket.
Okay.
She also is from the middle of nowhere, but carves things.
All right. So, plan to find Merryfall pub then. Tavern. Damn it.
Unless-
Pub.
Unless Fleet, you'd like to try something a bit more local. I mean, I imagine the Merry Fall here is going to be much the same as the ones we've come to. If you want to,
I mean, can we? This is sort of like my first experience with all of this culture, so I really want to explore. I want to see things.
yeah, let's find a more elven place, if that exists here.
Okay. So let's say you stop a passing traveller, not traveller, person walking on the street, and you inquire as to local taverns. Well, if you're new in town, there's always the Merryfall Association Tavern. It's in this place is known as, I wrote it down somewhere, the Smouldering Cauldron. Although that's a bit samey, saying the world over. However, if you truly want to experience the best the city has to offer, might I recommend the Elderberry? It is, how do we say, famed for its entertainment, although the alcohol is still exemplary.
When he says entertainment, am I reading between the lines? Brothel.
Insight.
An important question to ask.
I have to say, Lumie as a player 100% is reading that. Ash as a character, I assume, does not know what that is.
I mean, let's put an insinuation on it.
Oh, that's
12.
That place sounds exciting.
It probably sounds moderately adult, but you can't be sure it means to the extreme of a brothel. It could just be.
So he's not putting like
Answers, maybe.
It could just mean,
on
oh,
it.
the barmaids there wear shorter skirts than normal kind of thing.
Oh, so we're going to Elven Hooters. All right, yeah. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I hope there's some femboy elves.
Oh, can you give us directions?
I was going to say
What the definition of an elf?
obligatory joke about male elves.
Melfs.
We're going to femboy hooters in
Elves.
D&D. My dreams have come true.
Okay, I have not confirmed that yet. You have just decided this by yourself.
Yes,
So
yes,
to
I
be
have.
disappointed is all
the
I
power
have.
of
Nothing you
player
can do to
canon.
dissuade me from this image.
Ash needs a femboy elf boyfriend.
No! No! God,
Oh dear.
Okay, so you say you asked directions from the chap.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
The Elderberry. That sounds interesting.
Well, if that's everything, I'll be going.
Thank you.
Kind of moves on.
I
Is you
don't
headed
know.
straight there, or it's kind of 5-ish in the afternoon?
I don't know what the
These winter
equivalent
trips.
is.
late enough for a drink, let's go.
I'm off.
I'm not 100% sure what the equivalent is for you British people, but Fleet is gawking like someone from Nebraska traveling to New York City for the first time. Like, country
So in
bumpkin in the
America,
middle of
London.
nowhere, going to, I guess, like, the closest thing would be
Oh.
Trafalgar Square, something like that.
I was going to say like
Country kid goes to London.
I was going to say like Somerset to London or like Somerset to Leeds.
Or, honestly, even country kid goes to New York.
I Leeds.
Yeah.
That's such a weird choice.
Well, because it's
Leeds
not,
is an
it's not quite
excellent
London.
nightlife.
Well, it's not quite London, is it? Because
No, it's just.
Rita would be London.
So
So it's like Birmingham.
Yeah, Fleet is just gawking like this is
Yeah,
the
but
central
I-
hub
Leeds
of
is up north,
everything.
isn't it?
I hope this isn't Elf Birmingham. I don't want to go to Elf Birmingham. Please don't send me to Elf Birmingham.
Hey, man, as long as it's not Elf Manchester. Right,
Just a
moving on.
brummy elf.
So yeah, I guess since Fleet is
Anyway, talk.
gawking, Phoenix will lead on through the city looking for the Elderberry. Checking, as we're walking, just checking out sights, seeing if any
sure.
signs catch my eye. Anything of note or interest that
Yeah.
we might have to check out later. Any
Um,
particular landmark buildings that kind of stick out from the others? I mean, it's Elven architecture, so they're all trying to outdo each other, I imagine. But
yeah.
just particularly interested ones, things that look like civic buildings, libraries,
Sure.
anything like that.
Yeah, I'll ask for a group perception then. If I assume at least one other you will be keeping at least an idle eye on the city. So 2
He's
dice.
looking
Yeah,
for
but I will.
everywhere with as much interest as possible.
I feel Arlath is currently channeling the exact opposite energies of Fleet. Just like looking at roofs and being like, is that sturdy enough?
He just wants to see everything.
I feel like
Okay.
Ash is probably about as interested as Fleet, but is better at hiding it.
She's more demure. Okay, 1922. Yeah. Yeah. So as you look around, you're kind of coming from the outskirts of the city, and this tavern it's towards the middle, but it's not in the center. So as you pass by, you're mostly going through the various trade districts. It seems that most of what these people do is various forms of artisan. They're artisans.
They're
So
arty.
they generally have some sort of lower floor. That's kind of their shop/workroom, and then upper floor residence. So you'll have the blacksmith. So they blacksmith on the lower floor of the building. They live in the second floor. Carpenter, all that sort of thing. They generally seem to like family kind of businesses. So there'll be their name blacksmiths or their name Fletchers or whatever.
Having passed through before, do I know if Falari is particularly famed for any particular industry, or is it because they're elves, it's just whatever the elf family wants to do?
There is no main export of the city beyond artisanal goods. A lot of these craftsmen will be working on perhaps slightly more bespoke things to be shipped out because they've had a special order received in from some other city. Most of the stuff made here is taken elsewhere. So it's kind of the opposite of the timber town you came through the other day, where they kind of mostly just export the lumber and then they don't make a lot of stuff here. They make a lot of stuff in Falari and it gets shipped out and they pay a lot for it. Obviously they bring a lot of goods in as well. So that's kind of how the economy mainly works. It's very much a craftsman economy. Obviously there are services and stuff as well, so there'll be restaurants and stuff even and all that. But even then, it'll generally be surname, diner, or whatever. The lower four will be the restaurant. That is kind of head chef will be, grandma, and then all the waiters and waitresses will be sons and daughters, and the manager or whatever will be dad. It's all very much family businesses, and then the top floor will just be where that family lives. I seem somewhat big on keeping it in the family here. And yeah, each house is fully detached. There are
Maybe it
no
was more like
road
Nebraska than you
terraces.
thought, Britty.
Perfect.
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah, so it's all completely detached buildings. There are no roads or terraces, nothing like that. It is all one building, then the next, then the next. But yes, you kind of make your way through the city, and eventually you will arrive at the Elderberry. So on the sign out, kind of swinging outside, you will see a kind of, it looks almost like a blueberry. It's got a grumpy face, load of wrinkles, glorious beard, the walking stick, and it says the Elder, and then on the bottom side it's a berry. Seems to be some sort of pun that I am in no way.
Well,
incredibly
you're
proud of.
really less.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I was like, oh, what am I going to call this town? And I just came out like, yes, that's it. Yeah. So as you go in, it seems to be relatively normal, I guess. There's quite a few tables and stuff for patrons, sitting around, chilling, drinking drinks. There's obviously a bar at the back, the bartender behind it. This guy's a high elf. And there does appear to be a stage area that presumably is used for the entertainment the high elf was insinuating about earlier. this time there's a few people here, but from the kind of room that there is, you imagine it gets a lot busier later in the evening.
I guess up to, well, with this kind of establishment, either the bartender or if there seems to be more of a owner.
I mean, there's a bartender behind the bar. There's no one who's wearing a name badge. Hello, I am the CEO of this pub.
Oh no, just like nobody.
Nobody obvious, no.
It's up to the bartender. Afternoon. How much for rooms for? They'll look back to the group and go. 3 days, stabling for the same.
3 days. Let's say gold a night. So that'd be 5.15, and then stabling. Just call that 1 extra gold for the 3 days. Do you have any vehicles?
1 cart.
Oh. Just chuck in 3 silver for that. So that's 16 gold, 3 silver.
Yeah, sure, I'll pick that up.
He tosses down 16 gold.
Food included, naturally.
Quite literally just cannot stop bouncing.
Okay, or my friend here has it. Thanks very much. When does the entertainment start?
Oh, yes. Well, it changes a bit every night. Depends exactly when the room starts to fill up. It's normally between 8 and 9 when it begins, and then it ends, half an hour after that. Okay, depending how big the crowd is, how many tips are being brought in.
What's on the roster?
Tonight we have Callie. She is, let's say, something of a local favourite. Expecting a big house tonight.
For any particular reason?
Ash coughs.
How obviously are you coughing, Ash?
Very.
Not
Just
very.
I think Ash has come to some conclusion about what this kind of place is, and she thinks Fleet is about to hear something Fleet should never hear.
I don't really know. It's something ineffable, I think. People just like her.
First come, first serve, or book ahead?
If you can get a seat. If not, if you can stand.
Well, let's grab a seat
Once you're
then.
buying drinks, you're welcome in the room.
Doesn't sound very COVID secure.
There's no COVID in Gaecia.
There's no pandemic happening on this continent. We're
Oh,
fine.
thank God.
It's meant to
There
be
is no war in
escapism, Eleanor. Come on.
Oh, thank you. I guess we'll leave our horses with you.
All right, thank you. It's your kind of call for a young boy. It would be the equivalent of 14, but now so probably a bit older than that. And they'll send them around the front to deal with your horses and your car.
Looks like we've got a couple hours to kill.
Indeed.
So, Fleet, what are we doing?
Oh, it's my well, there's
Came here for you.
Yeah, there's a lot here. I think the closest I've been to someplace this big is QU, and this is very different from that. So, my first guess would just be to get lost, but I don't want to miss this, I don't know, performance. There's so much that I want to know, but it's also big. There's so much.
When you thought about coming to an elven city, when you thought about meeting more drow, what was the first thing that came to mind?
Food.
You're gonna eat them.
Fucking legend. I fucking love Fleet. Oh, she's so good.
Food is an ineffable part of any culture on the continent. It's just a part of how you recognize home as home. So I really wanted to know what's drow food like. Is it any different from tabaxi food? Is it any different from halfling or gnome food?
tell you what, Fleet. I'm sure we'll get something here tonight, but I don't imagine it's going to be the usual. Why don't we see if we can find a cafe or a restaurant or something?
Yes, that sounds awesome.
All right. Is everyone else okay with that?
It's 5:30. I could eat.
I would ask some time. I'm currently traveling in. Then he'll just sort of beckon to, like, full chainmail, shield on his back, warhammer on his hip. Like, this is not
Yes.
dining attire.
Oh,
Ash looks down at the furs that she has worn to every social engagement since she left her tribe and frowns slightly.
Fleet does a very similar thing with her very obviously not elven clothes. Maybe a little bit of clothes shopping as well.
Barkeep, our rooms. They will be safe whilst we're not here.
Yes.
Excellent. I will go to mine now.
All right. I'll give you the key.
You know, I hate the way he says it, but yeah, actually, new clothes. It's been a while.
Alath will disappear off for 10 minutes thanks to heavy armor.
Ash looks at Fleet, and Fleet, I think for the first time, you see that Ash is also really containing her excitement at being somewhere new.
Yeah,
And she turns this slightly wide-eyed look at you and says, Fleet, I don't think I've ever gone clothes shopping before.
you know, neither have I.
Oh god,
Okay.
they're gonna get ripped
So
off
after just
so bad.
googling Elvish food, and I'm going to Google fantasy fashion.
You know, I've got a funny feeling that fucking nothing at an elven clothes shop is gonna fit Ash.
Wow.
Fleet's
Probably
leg
a
is
hat
doing that.
she can get away with.
There you go. Fan Pinterest.
Fleet's doing
So
that.
either online.
Fleet's doing that leg thing that ADHD kids do, where it just doesn't stop bouncing.
Don't need to call me out like that, damn Britty.
Right. So you go and clothes shopping. Is that the plan?
I guess we wait for Orlath, and then yeah, we
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
go for all that.
duds. As we walk, Phoenix will take the opportunity to get into step with them. Fleet, say, you know, we can make a day of this, or a night, I suppose. Get some new clothes, try and find somewhere worth going.
I've never really
Me-
had like a day to like just for myself. I'm usually doing other things.
No, I'm just saying, if this is the first time you're really getting to grips with your heritage, and I mean, food is definitely part of that. Do it properly. Get done up. Enjoy it. It's not every day you get to do something for the first time.
It's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, we'll make a day of it. We'll enjoy it. We'll have a great time.
You kind of look over at that. I'm sure we'll find you something. I mean, just got to appeal to the elves' sense of superiority.
Okay. So it's gone 5 in the evening. So there's not much of a day left.
I reckon we
Um,
go and find. I think we should go and find food, and then maybe we should do the shopping tomorrow, perhaps. Maybe a quick look today, but actual shopping tomorrow, just because of the time.
Yeah, I don't want to miss this performance.
Ash stifles another cough.
Well, maybe then we just find something light, like a cafe. And tomorrow we go all out.
That sounds like a good plan.
I like this plan.
And
Okay.
if we have something light now, that means that Fleet can find out what on earth Elvish pub food is like.
In which case, Phoenix will
So
take.
far, I have discovered that pub food is not really like any other kind of food.
It's definitely different.
In which case, Phoenix will take the 10 minutes minimum that Arlath has gone to find out about the facilities of the Elderberry and get cleaned up from the road.
Ash will go and leave her axe in her room.
Okay.
By axe.
I guess I'll leave my sword behind.
Okay.
This is just a good opportunity. Phoenix still only has the one set of clothes. He desperately needs a change.
All right. So Are you going to have a bite to eat and then go window shopping, or window shopping then bite to eat?
I mean, we can do window shopping, I guess, on the way to said cafe.
Sure.
Or on
Sure,
the way
we'll pass
back from
by
said
interesting
cafe.
places.
So just a little bit as we're going, I think.
Scope out some places we could go tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so you have a bit of an idle wander around the street, kind of just seeing what there is, looking to windows, on the way to, whatever restaurant you first find that seems appropriate. I mean, yeah, there's a bit of quite a variety here. There's your super high-end, hundreds of gold per dress, like wedding dress shop, and then there's just like there'll be like cobblers, and there'll be places where you can just buy travelers gear, and then there's obviously a bunch of middling places, some places specializing in dresses, some in kind of more outfits, some more kind of adornments, so jewelry or even makeup, stuff like that. Yeah. I'm not going to spontaneously describe a bunch of outfits because I can't. I'll let you decide exactly what catches your eye.
As we walk, Phoenix is mentally counting his money. Even if we're not staying there, it might be worth swinging by the Merryfall, seeing if they've got any jobs going.
Not a bad idea either.
All right. So, restaurant or Merryfall?
Fleet is trusting everyone else to look for the Merryfall. She is looking specifically for a place that looks drow-owned, which I'm sure is near impossible, but that's what she wants to find.
So yeah, I guess we start
with like traditional drow food.
Yes.
Okay. That kind of thing doesn't really exist because
doesn't know
these
that.
specific drow never deviated from the rest of elves after the Titan Wars. I think the rest of you would probably be like Yareth and Phoenix would probably make the conclusion after a little bit of asking around that at least in this part of the world, drow culture is not distinct from high/wood elvish.
Then I guess Phoenix would be lending a hand and looking out for an establishment that seems to at least be predominantly drow-owned.
Sure.
Even if there- even if there's no-
not like drow waiters, it's a drow family who owns the restaurant. Sure.
Yeah.
That's
Even if there is no cultural distinction here, it's more for the effect for Fleet.
Yeah, Fleet won't know the difference.
Fleet believes it's drow. Even if
Therefore,
it's
it
just
is drow.
And I guess we wander in the direction of the Merryfall Tavern. If we don't make it and just find a cafe before then, that's fine. But just as a direction to go,
Yeah, so the Merryfall is kind of a bit away from the Elderberry, so you'll almost certainly find a restaurant before you get there.
it's fine. It just makes for a direction to walk.
All right, cool. So yeah, you eventually come across a restaurant that seems appropriate. No, I don't like any of them. Call it Bryhorn's Diner. And yeah, as you look in it, it mostly seems to be drow waiters. There's quite a few drow patrons, stuff like that. It seems to be what you're after, Fennick.
He's just gawking.
You'll probably get a couple of looks. Like, why is that lady just stood there gawking at a restaurant?
Are we going in? Are we gonna, or do we want to check out this place tomorrow and just do the Merryfall tonight?
No, this is first time Falari. Let's go get some local cuisine.
All right. So, are people feeling modest or comfortable, as described by this random list I found?
Modest, I would say.
Modest. Okay, so that'd be 3 silver per meal, and I'm just going to assume you all order at random. So I need each of you to roll me a d10, please. Just to see.
Phoenix will be ordering something meat. Well done.
I got a 1.
Alright. I also like to point out the menu is in Elvish. Unless you can read Elvish, you can't read the menu.
I can.
Oh yeah. Alath is definitely doing I will have this, and just
Okay.
point at something on the menu.
Yeah, you recognise the 3, and you're like, yeah, okay.
Does Ash need a translator?
Please.
Phoenix will look down the menu, find the biggest vegetarian platter on there, and order that for her.
Is this vegetarian platter?
Like the most ostentatiously vegetarian thing on the menu, and order that for her.
Pie or soup for the vegetarian option.
Yeah, he'll order the pie for
Or the pie. Okay. So, Phoenix,
Damn it, Phoenix.
did you say the biggest, meatiest thing there
You
was?
little shit.
Did you say biggest, meatiest thing there was, Phoenix?
Oh no, Phoenix is just having like a mid-range meat option, but well done.
Okay. We'll say you got the grilled wild boar chops. Flipped with a 1.
Ash didn't.
Yeah. Fleet will get the broiled salmon and potatoes. Before Arlath will get the smoked sausage, goose eggs, and dates. And Ash, you will get cheese pie and onion soup. The other veggie option was mint pea soup.
Phoenix, are you sure you can read Elvish?
I mean, it looks like a pie.
You said fine.
Yeah,
Good
comes out.
That looked delicious to me.
I feel like I can't decide how to play this. I don't know if Ash is going to be like, "What the fuck have you done to me?" Or if Ash is going to be like, "This is actually really good. I like this cheese stuff."
I'm imagining the child response of where it's like, I don't want to eat it, just try a bite. I don't want to eat it, just try a bite. And then they try a bite, and it's like, and you can clearly see, okay, it's actually really good, but they just don't admit it.
Because admitting it would mean you're
Suddenly eats
wrong.
the rest of it
Right.
really, really quickly.
I feel like, yeah, Ash will eat it with, quiet content, but she will also spend the entire time staring at Phoenix's plate.
Alright. Oh yeah, it's decidedly middle of the range. So as I say, 3 silver each. It's fine, but it by no means, oh my god, amazing. But yes, it is Elvish culture.
Fleet is having the time of her life.
I was going to say, every so often as he's eating, Phoenix is just kind of glancing at Fleet's reaction.
Fleet is having a fantastic time. She is digging into this like it is the greatest meal she's ever tasted.
Yeah, she also, it's kind of just some sort of fillet of salmon and then just like new potatoes and like some asparagus or whatever. Steamed asparagus.
You're making me so hungry, dude.
Yeah. So your meals will kind of be brought out by this younger drow chap. It's difficult. He's kind of reaching the age where it's difficult to tell, but it's kind of on the board, so you can just get this guy is quite young. Hello. How is everything?
Oh, it's to die for. This is fantastic. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Aim to please here. How about the rest of you?
Well, it could do with a bit of meat in it, but it's not bad.
Right. Anybody else? Everything fine?
Pretty good, yeah. I don't suppose you'd have recommendations for things to do around the city.
Things to do in the city, as in free time?
Treat us as tourists.
Tourists. It's not the most touristy city in the world. Well, I guess depending exactly what you want. There are a few libraries, a couple of museums. Good place for shopping if you're into the more bespoke side of things. There are a couple of playhouses, ranging from the crude to the sublime, and much the same can be said for music. There's quite a few buskers in the streets, but there's a concert house or two towards the center of town. General flavour.
No, that's good.
What you're after?
There are so many words in what that man just said that Ash does not understand.
I'm sure she understood the word crude.
Oh, almost definitely.
Yeah, she's heard that one before.
Mostly describing her methods and weaponry.
Bit rude. He practices lots,
Yeah. So you kind of finish up your meal.
What sort of
you
time?
bring over another drink, or you continue to explore the city?
What sort of time is it?
Oh, 6:30, maybe almost 7.
I think we can make a quick stop at Maryfall and then go.
Yeah, I think we got time.
Okay. Yeah, so you kind of have a bit of a walk to walk off your meal. I think especially Fleet, you might be regretting walking so fast after eating. Yes, you eventually make your way to the Smouldering Cauldron. As the name suggests, it's just a kind of copper cauldron, and it seems to be steaming. As you walk in, it is the typical merry fall kind of rabble. So there's people from all over. There's more lizard folk than you might necessarily expect for Cathania, but perhaps considering the fact that they don't necessarily fit into Falari as well as they might into other cities, it kind of makes sense. You imagine a lot of these people are here on business and then will be off again soon. Kind of standing behind the bar, there is a kind of quite burly wood elf.
Just as an aside, what does Arlath look like right now without his armor?
For you lot, I've posted a picture in one of the channels on our Discord, but he's wearing these very simple-ish black robes with purple sort of edges and cloth wraps, still keeping like almost everything except his head and neck covered. It looks like the sort of hood and cape is just one thing that he wears with his armor. There are a couple of sort of metal chains. They don't necessarily they're not like gold, they're almost sort of like a brassy bronze color and quite aged. But it seems to be almost like just on the cusp of ceremonial. And he's carrying
wearing his Sunday best.
And carrying not much else other than this like dangling off his hip is a rock with a rune embedded in it that just seems
rock.
to be just dangling off on some fabric.
It's his pet rock.
It's a very nice rock.
It's
Got googly eyes on it.
It's a holy emblem. But yeah, he's just it's surprisingly it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, that is effectively plain clothing, but the way it's sort of been put together makes it almost like practical ceremonial might be the best way to describe it. And as for his face, he is looking thoroughly disappointed in most things. Well, disinterested.
All right. Yeah, so as I say, behind the bar in the Smouldering Cauldron is this quite burly wood elf. Kind of gives you a nod as you walk in.
Evening.
All right. What brings you here then?
Looking for a bit of work.
Work. What kind of work?
Again, he'll do that kind of look back to the group, like a double check almost. Kind of weigh something in his head and then go, adventuring work, I guess.
Adventuring work. Not sure I got a whole lot free at the moment. I can have a look around, ask a couple of people who often have that kind of thing available. Get back to you tomorrow.
Yeah, sure, that works.
Quite a quiet town here. Less work for adventuring sort. We got people, residents, locals. You generally deal with most problems like that arise. You just after manual labour, something like that, tide you over for an evening. Just do a night shift or something. I can find something along those lines.
No, if you check in, we'll come back tomorrow. See if anything turned up.
Yeah. All right.
That was a bit of a dud. Oh well.
Well, you never know. Something could come up. You'll kind of mentally do the maths again. Let's hope something comes up.
The last time we did a performance, something definitely came up. So, I said did. I meant went to. That was Lumie being an idiot, not Ash.
Nah, when's Ash pulling out the bagpipes? Come on.
Oh God, no.
Just kind of 7:30ish at this point.
It's probably
starting thinking about you might want to get back to the Elderberry if you don't want to miss the performance.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. As you start wandering back,
Plot.
Fleet. What?
As we start wandering back, suddenly plot.
Oh, what? No. Would I?
I mean, you might.
Actually, your job, bro.
Yeah. Is it just the tone of the way I said it?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll say
that. Yeah. So Fleet, I imagine there might be a particularly cool building or whatever. Maybe a clothes shop you might want to visit tomorrow. You kind of hang back for a moment and let your friends get a few paces ahead of you. It's kind of about then that just kind of ambling out of a side street, you notice in the corner of your eye this incredibly aged tabaxi lady. They're walking with a stick. They're kind of just shuffling. It's an amble, but it's a shuffle. And they kind of, as you imagine, they kind of looking down up and down the street both ways before they seemingly see you and start shuffling towards you with a lot more purpose.
If I can tell that it's definitely like me that they're shuffling towards, like I look behind me and there's no like other tabaxi that they're waving at.
Seemingly not, no.
Yeah. Then yeah, I would walk towards them a little cautiously, just like, howdy. Good to see a fellow member of the family out this far.
Hello? It's been
24 years.
I lost the voice now.
So sorry, I can't resist.
Aren't you a gorgeous child? You'll kind of reach up to try and touch your face, and you kind of look in their eyes, and they've got some of the milkiness that you would associate with blindness. You imagine this person probably doesn't see too well. They kind of touch up and have a bit of a feel of your face. They'll kind of let out a gasp.
Yeah, I imagine it's
Kane will kind of drop to the floor, and then they'll almost have to quickly use you as balance, having dropped this cane.
Oh, careful there.
I'm so sorry.
Can Ash pick the cane up and just put it into their hand?
You probably have to turn around and jog back a bit because you probably walked on a bit as this is
Yeah,
happening.
that's fine.
Fleet. But yeah, you can never do that. Oh, thank you, dear. She'll kind of go back to feeling Fleet's face. Oh my, that time already. Pleasure to meet you. I'll kind of hold out a hand for you to shake, or paw, whatever.
Fleet would accept it, but then say, that time? What do you mean?
Well, it is true, innit? You are the fruit.
I'm the what?
Fruits, dear. Like apples, pears, that kind of thing.
No, my name's Fleet, not Fruit. Sorry.
Oh dear. Seems I'm getting muddled up. We must not have met yet. Please. I'm called by Great with Acumen, although my friends just call me Aku. I've been waiting for you for a long time. It's about this point that kind of quite worriedly emerging out of the alley comes another tabaxi. This one seems to be much younger, in his early 20s, kind of pure black fur. He'll kind of seemingly see Aku and go, and just run over. I'm dreadfully sorry. She wanders off like this sometimes. I hope she wasn't bothering you folks.
Oh, no bother at all. Don't worry about it. I can recognize a fellow member of the family from that distance.
Oh. At this point, Aku will kind of reach up and grab this tabaxi's shoulders. 10. She is the fruit.
I'm still not entirely sure what that means.
If it helps the guy, we did. Britty, you said earlier that Fleet's clothes are obviously tabaxi made, right?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
High tabaxi fashion. And he'll kind of, are you sure? Down to Aku. Yes, I'm sure. And it kind of 10 will look you up and down and kind of take in the rest of the group. Well, this is surprising, but I suppose also not. Hi, I'm Tender of Care, or most people just call me 10. Kind of, again, extend a paw. First to Fleet, kind of shake anybody else if they want to take him up.
Phoenix, I don't suppose you'd want to illuminate us on what the fruit is?
I would if I could. That's all I can say. If she says that you are it, though, then she's probably right. Are you perchance busy? I would like to have a word with you, but if now's not a good time.
Fleet's now torn because this performance could be such a look into Elvish culture, but this is a member of the family.
Fleet, if you want to go ahead, I can stay and keep you up to date later. Or
would you?
Don't mind. No.
Okay.
Fleet, I don't mean to make decisions for you, but I think whatever this is might be a little bit more important than a performance.
Oh, it might be important, but if you're busy tonight, you can always come to me tomorrow.
No, we're not busy at all. I'll come with you.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
I wouldn't want to keep you from anything.
Absolutely, we're not busy at all. I'll come with you
all
guys.
Right.
You all go and enjoy. Just tell me about it afterwards, all right?
Cannot
Want
promise
to
I will
stay,
enjoy
Fleet,
the event.
Or are you okay on your own?
I'll be fine.
Good, if you're sure. And Ash will clap her on the shoulder, probably slightly harder than she means to, and then turn to go back to the elderberry.
Phoenix will just click his fingers, and Moat will appear on Fleet's shoulder. He'll give her a nod, and then, head off to the elderberry.
Cool. So everybody but Fleet's going to the elderberry, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Alath will put a hand on Fleet and say, Do not die. The next initiative roll Fleet makes will be at advantage.
Hey. All right. So
As I give Fleet a vigilant blessing.
Thank you. I feel a bit, strangely enough, lighter on my feet.
all right. Well, if you're sure about it, come with me. I'm afraid we don't move all too fast.
Oh, no
He'll
trouble
kind
at
of
all.
give his arm to the to Aku, and then they'll start very slowly heading back towards the alley which he originally emerged from.
Y'all have fun.
You too. I hope it is enlightening.
All right. So, you following Aku and Ten then?
Yes.
Cool. So kind of along the way, because it's a bit of a, it's a short way, taken a long time. Ten will explain to you that they are actually tenders of a shrine here in Falari. That's kind of stood for about 600 years. And it was kind of supposedly erected by Tamalia herself, although 600 years ago. But it's generally tended to by a very small number of tabaxi, kind of at the pleasure almost of the city council. And as you kind of approach it, above ground, it just appears to be a small little cave, just randomly, like halfway along a street. There's no sign outside, no nothing. It's just a small little cave entrance, almost, kind of a bit smaller than the houses around it. It just seems to go down.
Well, I've seen weirder, so I don't see any reason to not go in.
All right. As you enter, you become decidedly impressed with this old lady, because as you kind of go in the cave entrance after a couple hundred feet, kind of slowly down on diagonal, you come across a staircase, a spiral staircase, the bottom of which you cannot see from up here.
Do you take this trek every time you have to go up and down?
Oh, yeah, it's a bit far underground.
A bit? You could say that again.
Keeps you fit, I guess. Possibly it's one of the reasons why it's only a small number of attendants. Shouldn't take too long. And then he will start guiding her down the steps. I assume you follow?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So it's about a 25 minute walk down, probably close to 30, 35, with the elderly lady with you. You reckon you're several hundred feet underground now. And you'll kind of emerge into this. It's a small little, it's almost a corridor. And it is lit only by a pair of torches in sconces. Although if you look at them, the wood seems very, very old. It doesn't seem to have been touched by the fire at all. You get the impression these are probably magic torches. So kind of a couple of kind of branches that kind of go away from this somewhat of a corridor. Ten will gesture down one and indicate that that's where they sleep and cook and live, all of that jazz. And then down the other one is where the actual shrine is. Let's go this way for now, and he'll kind of guide you down towards the living quarters. Kind of, it is incredibly basic. They are what can barely be described as beds, They're little more than sleeping bags on stilts. There is a small fire pit on which seems to be a small pot kind of bubbling gently as kind of the smoke goes up a very small little chimney type thing, seem to be naturally formed. And kind of tending this fire is a third tabaxi. This one seems to be quite young, around 14, and 10 will kind of introduce her as Accord with All, or just known as Accord. And he will kind of sit you and Aku down kind of around this little campfire as Accord will kind of dish up some sort of stew that she will give to both Aku and 10. You will be offered some as well, if you would like to take it.
I'll take it out of respect, but I won't eat too much.
Okay. And then a kind of chunk of quite stale bread as well to go along with it. So after you all sat down, started eating, 10 will say, this is, we call this place the Aquiessence, Aquiessence Shrine. And, as I say, it was erected about 600 years ago. It uses kind of water that, from a small little brook that kind of channels off from the great river, up on the surface. And it kind of flows down into the rock. And then it kind of joins up to this fountain. And it's a fountain that's basically the shrine.
Gorgeous.
Pardon?
It's gorgeous.
You are currently in the living quarters. It is decidedly non-gorgeous.
It's the idea of it. Fleet is imagining it in her head.
Okay, sure. This here, as I said, is Aku. She is a seeress. She has a modicum of power granted by the goddess, and using the water from the fountain as a scrying medium, she is able to see things that have happened, are happening, and occasional glimpses of that which might come to pass.
Is this why she called me a fruit?
Pardon?
Is this why she called me a fruit?
I believe she did not call you a fruit. I believe she just called you fruits. Fruit of the land most accursed is the title of a person who is supposed to emerge and have some decided impact either on the world or the goddess. I have not seen the visions myself. Seems these particular ones are quite clouded even for her. But perhaps with you here, vision might become clearer.
That particular type of magic is beyond me, so I wouldn't know, but I'd be happy to help in any way I can.
You would not be required to enact any magic. It's more that your mere presence will enable her to see clearer. As at this point, kind of Aku will put down her little bowl from which she'd been eating the soup. Yeah, I see glimpses of that will happen to you and others, companions of yours, though I do not know if you have found them yet. She kind of look at you, almost contemplating you.
Looks very nervous. She's concerned. Because now hearing the whole title, Fruit of the Line, Most Accursed, and things that will happen to your companions. Concerning talk.
Come, I will show you what I have seen. She'll kind of reach forward, take your hand, and quite determinedly start leading you from the room.
Okay.
She'll kind of lead you back to the antechamber almost, and then down towards the passage towards the shrine. So, there is some sort of fault in the rock through which natural light is shining. And you can see along the floor there is some sort of channel through which water would flow. That seems to lead up to this decidedly square-looking structure in the middle. And then there is, obviously the square bit that's in the picture, and then this kind of raised podium. On top of that, there is some sort of goblet made out of a silvery substance, some sort of metal. From the look of it, so there's this kind of raised area, and then there's this lower area, and it looks like the lower area would fill up with water. However, for a fountain, it seems awfully dry. And kind of following on behind you, Ten will gasp, and he will kind of run forward, pushing past you and Aku, and kind of descend into lower chamber and just gawk.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is that normal? Because normally fountains have, water.
It was fine an hour ago. What happened? Where did it all go? He starts looking around. He'll inspect the chalice. Not touching it, he'll just inspect it, look along the channel, everywhere in the room. There's not many places to search, but he's doing his damnedest.
Well, I don't really know what I can do here. I guess we will step down into the lower part and start looking for, cracks in the floor that the water could have leaked out of.
Sure, investigation. Okay. So you kind of look around. Most of the stonework itself, in fact, pretty much everything in here seems pristine. If it weren't for the lack of water, you would say these attendants do a damned good job looking after this shrine. There seems to be kind of some sort of drainage, kind of in the far corner where presumably kind of the water comes in from the channel and then out the bottom, because otherwise it would just flood. You kind of look down there, everything seems to be fine, and then you follow the channel back up. Your best guess is there's some blockage back where this channel leads, and that's prevented the flow of water. The last hour, what was here has drained out.
I think it's probably just something blocked up here.
He'll kind of rush over to you and kind of start looking up it. I can't see anything.
I mean, that's the only explanation I can think of. Unless, the whole channel's suddenly gone, but that would be ridiculous, right?
I would hope so. It can't just dry up. He'll kind of just look, what the fuck do I do now?
Is there a pathway, to the channel from here? Maybe we can go and walk and see if it's just something that's simple at blocking it.
I believe so. There's it leads out from the staircase. It was some sort of maintenance tunnel from when the shrine was originally made. It supposedly goes on for miles and miles and miles. To the point where the stream cuts off from the overground river. Could take hours, maybe even days to inspect it all.
Oh, damn. I don't think we have days right now.
Certainly not this evening, no. As at this point, Aku has made her way down into the lower area. It's kind of just stood inside the main square, kind of staring into the metal chalice.
People walk over to her. Are you okay? Sure, this is a bit of a shock to you too.
No. I think this is how it is meant to be. You are not to hear my message on this day, fruit. For my message is of dark intentions, dark motives. We are 2 days from the solstice. That is when you will hear my message to you. Between now and then, you and your companions, if they are here, fruit, must journey to unblock this channel, for I have a message for you all.
I'm sure that's something we can absolutely do. I'll run my way back to them and make sure they know. Thank you. We'll get this unblocked, lickety-split as soon as we can.
Fruit, she'll kind of hold out your hand to you as you turn to go. I'm sorry. I did not know things had gotten so bleak.
I don't feel like things are bleak right now. You don't have to apologize for nothing.
Mayhap the hour is later than I thought. This could be troubling.
Well,
Tell me, does the child still walk with you?
I suppose you're a seer. You would know that. No, she's being taken care of. And check in on her pretty often, and right now we are undertaking a mission to help her
Not
stay
that
safe.
child. The blessed child. The child whose light will sustain all the others.
Althea? No, she went home.
And truly, the hour is later than I thought. She'll kind of just sink and sit on the kind of bit of the fountain, kind of head in her hands.
Well, on that morbid note, Fleet will just very carefully step backwards and out of this place.
All right. So,
On that dark note,
as the rest of you go to have some entertainment at a tavern, you kind of make your way back to the Elderberry. And yeah, things are, it's about 8 when you arrive back, and things are starting to get busy. You might just about snag the last set of chairs if you're quick.
Snag. Go. Snag.
Athletics or acrobatics, your choice.
Phoenix will reach
Be a
across the
group
room
check,
with main
so 2
hand
dice.
and pull a chair back from anyone trying to take it.
Shit. Oh well.
16, it will be enough. You'll just about barge your way through a couple of elves who look like they've already had a couple and secure the last few chairs for yourselves a day. Unfortunately, you're too late to get a table, and you're kind of on the far side of the tavern to the stage. There's quite a few people who will now have to settle with standing room only. And kind of over the next half an hour, 45 minutes, even more people will kind of crowd in. And yeah, they are decidedly, sardines in a tin. Most of the crowd who were here early and got the tables, they seems to be elven locals of various kinds. Whereas kind of those arriving are much later appear to be more like yourself, some sort of travellers. And there's a large variety of races that seem to be attending this thing. People sitting down, the locals seem excited, whereas kind of the people arriving later, the non-locals, seem to be more curious, like yourselves. There's roughly a 50-50 split. And kind of eventually the bartender will kind of ring a bell and declare that if you want a drink, you should get it now because no drinks are served during the performance.
Yeah, as soon as that's said, Phoenix would just kind of stand up and go, Althea, mind my chair, I'll go... Yareth, keep an eye on my chair, I'll go grab us some drinks. And make us
Aww.
all...
All right.
And
You
before he goes
about...
too far, he'll kind of look back at Arlath, almost afterthought, and just say, what do you drink?
Apparently
Yeah.
nothing. Now,
Sorry, I was muted.
yeah.
He'll just sort of grumble and just like whatever passes for hearty here.
Right, yeah, Phoenix would go up, order...
Right. Well, you and about 20 other people will all accost the single barman at once. So about 20 minutes later, you will be able to give in your order. So they do serve beers, ales, that kind of thing here, although there are a wider array of wines than there might be in other parts of the world.
Yeah, his order would just be 2 ales, a cider, and something hearty.
You'll be handed 3 ales and a cider. You kind of give a sniff to the ale. It seems to be good stuff. Perhaps not the strongest stuff, but you imagine it tastes nice. You kind of make your way back over to your friends. It is difficult. Even more people.
3 ales, it's like a triangle in front of him, and a mage hand will just be carrying his cider above his head, so it's not at all risk of being jostled.
Okay. In the 20 minutes while you're ordering your drinks, even more people have packed in here, and it is a squeeze. I would need you to make some sort of sleight of hand acrobatics check to not spill a drink. Yeah. You have no problem. You kind of, using good elbow work, manage to nudge people out of your way, and the occasional drop, but you definitely arrive with all your tankards essentially full. At a guess, it's probably about 100, 150 people in here, in a building probably designed to seat 70, 80 people at max.
How much did that run
This
me?
is quite full. It'll be a copper apiece. So 4 copper.
Ash will chuck you a copper.
All right. So,
He'll drop the copper in Ash's drink and hand it to her and go, don't be rude.
Is that like a Jaeger bomb?
No, that's I just paid for your drink, don't be rude.
Okay.
Ash looks genuinely bewildered, but doesn't question it further.
Alright, so. Is this the right music? No. This one? Yes. So, from the stage, you notice a kind of doorway with kind of a curtain draped across it that you didn't see before. and from it will appear 3 glowing balls of light that will kind of twist around the stage in an intricate pattern, seemingly more than anything to get the attention of the crowd. And it does. In short order, even the most drunken of patrons will quieten down, if nothing else because other people encourage them to. And kind of after the bar's been held in silent suspense for about 10-15 seconds, music will start. It is very much like the music you're currently hearing. It is some sort of low strings. It's very grave, almost solemn in nature. Emerging from behind this curtain, there are a row of girls. All Elven, a mixture of Highwood and Drow. By their garb, how do I put this nicely? They are decidedly pleasing to look at. However, they are not necessarily inappropriate to all but the greatest of prudes. However,
So we're not looking at a strip show. We're looking at a burlesque.
sure. Yeah. So yes, these girls will start slowly moving in unison. It is simple but elegant. If you have good taste in high art, that's pretty good.
Opposite and barbarian.
If you like looking at pretty girls, it's also pretty good. And after kind of this piece almost is finished, the music comes to an end. The dancers kind of freeze in place. From each of their hands appears another ball of light that will kind of ascend and hover not far below the ceiling. They will kind of glisten, and then they will change color, starting at one end, progressing down to the other. Red will kind of flash along the row. Orb will jump slightly as it does flash this way. And then what proceeds is almost a lights show as these orbs move and flash and dance in an intricate yet pleasing manner. The music will start up again. And emerging from behind the curtain door, there is a final figure. This one is Drow, and compared to the others, they're pretty hot. This lady is only described as a great beauty. They seem young, but then all elves seem young. Their form is incredibly elegant. And their costume is more suggestive than their backup dancers, but still proper, I guess. And she will kind of slowly move to the center of the stage. Do all your characters have to be gay?
No, I've got literally no gay characters.
They don't have to be. Are they? Different question entirely.
I was going to say, I don't necessarily think that's about Ash.
Oh, sure. I just realised we're still on the fountain. Hang on. Change you over to the tavern. Yes, and then this final figure will start to perform. Fleet, you are not there. So, just Phoenix, can you make me a perception check, please? With advantage, because I really want you to roll well.
That's the best kind of inspiration.
Yeah. Purely because I want you to succeed. With the dice say no, the dice say no. Okay, 14. Okay. I will Discord you what you got. Where are you? Here you are. All right. Yes. This performance, again, much like the girls behind her, is stunning, both from a high art perspective and also from a look at the girl perspective. It seems to tell the story of a damsel and her imprisonment in a tower.
The plot Shrek.
Eventually, a male figure, presumably her co-star, will appear and join in. And it tells the story of this great hero's kind of fight, almost, to free her from the tower. The backup dancers will perform, several parts. Both, the main character's aged mother, but they also come together to be the terrible dragon that defends her. It is definitely something to behold. And after about 45 minutes, the performance will draw to an end. The music will slow down and stop. And eventually, the performers will all take their bow, and the tavern explodes in applause. After taking a few bows, quite a lot of coins and flowers, stuff like that, being thrown at the stage. One particularly drunken fellow will attempt to climb up on the stage to kiss one of the dancers, but he'll be beaten back by a bouncer. And then the girls will kind of demurely walk off stage again, as kind of a couple of tavern hands will start to sweep up all the coins and flowers and stuff that was thrown at the stage. And
what's the name of the performer again?
Kali was all you heard so far. Kali. And yeah, a lot of the patrons will kind of leave at that point, but a decent number will stay, far more navigatable number, as people start making their way back to the bar to order more drink.
Anyone else want any more drinks?
I'll have another ale.
Not from here. It and the entertainment were passable.
Not hearty enough for you?
No, I shall endeavour to make a sturdier brew for travelling.
Yep, Phoenix will go back up to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Hey there, another ale for my
Of
friend.
course.
He'll point out Ash. And while I'm up here, what does Callie like to drink?
Well, she's quite fond of good wine. typically the girls don't drink, at least not on the nights they perform. They'll come out in a bit to start serving, but they don't drink. Keeps them out of mischief, if you know what I mean.
Keep one behind the bar for her then when she does. And
Glass bottle.
glass.
All right. 3 silver.
Kind of nod to himself. Expensive tastes.
From the look on the barman's face, you gather this probably isn't too uncommon. I'll kind of get you your ales and pass them back to you.
Yeah. Cider for me, ale for Ash, ale for Yaris.
All right. Yes, that'd be copper apiece again. So you making your way back to your friend?
Yeah, we'll wait for.
Oh. So it's about when you sit back down that a lot of the girls will kind of come back out dressed in more common clothing, I guess. However, they still wear like something like the jewelry and bangles, stuff that they would have had whilst they were dancing, to kind of separate them from the rest of the barmaids and stuff. And they will generally immerse themselves with the patronage, generally trying to convince people who should not be buying more drinks to buy a lot more drinks.
What do you think of elven performances, Ash?
Stares at you in repressed country bumpkin. No, well, it was certainly, something. Not what I expected.
They not do anything like that out in the wasteland? Badlands, maybe?
Not quite like that, no. I mean, had music and tales handed down across the generations and so on, but we didn't have, I guess, dancing really, not like that. No,
No
not from people
scantily
that could actually dance.
No scantily ad orc warriors gyrating over the drinks.
Phoenix! Ash, like, you can tell she's trying not to laugh, but she does shoot you quite a glare.
She didn't deny it.
I'm just saying.
That's all I'm taking from that.
I'm just saying. I've read the books. I've seen the images. Orc barbarians. They're not wearing a lot.
That's for practical reasons.
Oh, I bet.
Yes. Practical reasons to not armor any part of your vital organs.
Listen,
A brilliant way to not die.
I am stronger without my armor than I am with. Besides, not much armor to be made from wild boar, which is our primary game, so...
Are you stronger without your armor, or are you just not paying attention to how much damage you're taking?
Listen, nobody said it couldn't be both. But I am... It might seem odd to you, Olaf, but I am harder to hit without it than I am with. I guess I can move more easily, I suppose. Maybe that's why.
Phoenix will make a very fast, complicated hand gesture and just say, there is something to be said for being unencumbered.
Thank you.
Also doesn't wear armor. So you have two people in this party who just do not wear
Just
armor.
Olaf.
Actually, Arlath is the only one in this party who wears armor.
Yeah.
So the Arthur's leather armor. Can't remember.
But yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's
Just
studded leather
like
armor.
monk, he understands. Like, there's all the like, it's because it's all like hoo ha he hoo. With barbarian, he's just like, you're just taking hits and not recognizing that you've been hurt.
But no.
You heard it here first,
well-
folks. An armored defense is hoo hee ha ho.
While we're
Hang
conversing,
on.
Phoenix is keeping an
I
eye
do
on.
the same thing as monks. Just, without the hoo hee ha.
Oh, just the ho then. That seems about right.
No! God damn it! Why are you
I-
all like this, you thirsty bitches? I apologise to the stream for the fucking horny on mainness of my companions this evening.
I have never been thirsty in my life.
And yet somehow you're still horny on main.
I would like to press
Okay.
X,
It's
please.
impressive.
Okay.
While we're talking, Phoenix is keeping an eye on Carly as she makes her way around the room.
She's not come out yet. It's just
And
the
also-
facts about this one.
Phoenix. It doesn't take a genius to notice that there is quite a blush creeping up on Ash's cheeks the more you press her about this.
Yeah, why do you think he's doing it?
Oh,
Half of Phoenix's kicks is just seeing how much he can rile Ash up.
he's such a meanie.
Okay. Time will pass in pleasant conversation, I'm sure. And eventually, kind of 9:30, 10ish, Fleet, you will arrive back at the tavern. Kind of just wandering to kind of see. And yeah, the party almost seems to be in full swing. You notice a lot of far too drunk patrons, both locals and not. And then you notice all the strangely dressed barmaids kind of going out of their way to encourage people to drink more.
Must be part of
it's
elven
kind of-
culture.
It's kind of approximately this point in time, kind of as Fleet enters. Again, from the backstage will emerge Callie and her male co-star. It's about this time that they seem to be taking their time, I guess, in amongst the patrons.
Fleet, you missed a rather interesting example of elven culture. Hope your conversation was enlightening.
Well, about that. Good news. Found us a job. We're gonna.
Coin pouches were getting a bit light.
I don't know how much it pays, but we are gonna be checking the channel for any blockages leading up to this important place.
Fleet, that's not a job. That's unpaid civic work.
They didn't mention pay, but I'm sure you can discuss it when you. But bad news. Apparently I am what was the word they? Fruit of the line most accursed.
That is quite the title.
Phoenix will have Moat jump over onto his shoulder and just briefly seem to share about a minute-long telepathic conversation.
Sure.
Congratulations on not dying, though.
You all right? I didn't die. We're gonna be going back at some point. The woman has things that she needs to tell us, but their fountain thing, which draws water from the channel, is dried up. Which is why we're gonna check the channel for any blockages and make sure it's not, permanent.
So we are plumbers now.
If you want to put it simply, we're yes for a short time, but it's for good reason.
We're helping out, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, these people need help. Now, tell me about the show. How was it?
There were elves and lights.
Would have enjoyed it. I think. Some dancers, some pretty magic lights, something about there being a plot. Phoenix got more of that than I did, but it was very pretty.
I watched this for the plot, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh well, shame that I missed it, but I'm glad I went over there. It was important.
It's about this time that Callie will approach your table. Fleet, I need you to make your perception check now, please.
Oh shit. Okay. Just normally.
Yeah, just normally.
I'll sigh, and as I come out of the telepathic conversation with Moat and just mutter under my breath, "Root of the line most cursed." God, it's always something.
Yeah. Is someone rolling high enough to see what you want us to see?
You both rolled 1 under. Okay.
Oh, it's harder for me. Come on.
Mr. DM, you can just tell them. You are the DM.
No, it's interesting this way as well.
I was going to say, is Fleet's not at advantage?
Now we know who the favourite is.
Okay, I gave Phoenix advantage. I should probably give Fleet.
Well,
The
I
dice
guess
have
it's
spoken. The
16.
dice have spoken.
The dice god said no.
I do not
Yeah.
get to see this.
I mean, you could inspiration it, but no. Okay, you got what you have got. Hi. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Are you new in town?
Just in today.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good
That will
journey.
give one slow blink.
It's a good journey. Where you folks coming from?
Oh, far out from here.
Oh,
Yeah, out in the Badlands. Although,
gosh.
I suppose closer by we were in, what was the name of that town? Kazmir?
Oh, I heard of that. Yes. Trade and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a goodly distance. Must take you, what, a month?
A decent amount of travel, yeah.
What brings you here? Business? Pleasure?
Work.
Work, yeah.
Oh. What exactly do you do?
Bit of everything, really.
We're
Right
hired
now
hands.
we're looking for a few things. Kazmir, everything goes through Kazmir at some point. On the subject of interesting things, that's a unique-looking locket.
This? Oh, thank you. I was given it by my mother. She'll kind of take it and kind of glance at it, and she'll kind of take it off, hand it over to you to have a look.
Fleet is staring very intently at it with her hand on her chest.
Sure.
Do you mind if I look at it as well? Sorry, I just,
Oh, of course. Just don't break it.
promise.
Yeah, so as you look at it, the crest on it is an apple, and there is kind of a vine with flowers on it kind of twisting around it. So I will mock it up for you here with my astounding art abilities. So you got apple, and there's kind of a vine twisting around it with flowers. Kind of like that.
Wow, that is beautiful. Funny question. I've seen another crest similar to this before. It was an anvil with an arrow through it. Do you know anything about something like that?
Oh, the crest just means your family. So this is the crest of my father. Presumably yours mean the crest of your father.
Do all drow have these, or is it denote something extra?
I mean, a lot do. It kind of became somewhat of a practice. After the Titan Wars, when we came into being, because initially there was a lot of you all look the same, and so we, decided to make things easier. In time, though, that's died down. So most people just wear it out of tradition, I guess. Yes, Vladimir Drow, it wasn't great, but that was many, many generations ago. We are who we are, and we're proud. And not like some others, but
Here,
most
here.
people here in Falari, we
Is-
are who we are.
Is there a registry? A record of the various
Oh.
families and their crests?
Not that I know of. I've never thought to look into it. Try some of the libraries in town. This is probably your best place to look. As I say, it's most common here. Obviously, city to the south. The DM's got his name. Mithal. Those are the two places most likely to have something like that. You won't find it anywhere else, I guess. Library, maybe the museum.
While they're discussing this, Fleet is just staring very intently at her face, trying to line it up with the memory of mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does it match?
Intelligent.
So how much contact is there between the Gathanian drow and the rest?
Legitimately, none. Illegitimately, who can say? We try not to associate ourselves with them too much.
Do you know if they hold the same practices with the lockets and crests?
Well, as I say, originally started after the Titan Wars, so initially, yes, before we, went our separate ways. Whether that's still happening, I wouldn't know. I mean, they all live underground now. No way to access them. That, well, at least is publicly known. They keep themselves to themselves. Very little. They have little to do with us, and we have little to do with them. Occasionally, a family will migrate one way or t'other, but people talk about them being slightly radical almost, but it's I think they're just a community who we accept ourselves and expect others to accept us. They accept ourselves but don't accept others to accept them. And when you consider a lot of attitudes, some of the egos knocking around in the Elgorns, it's not entirely ununderstandable.
You face a lot of problems from dwarves coming through.
No, because they don't. I have never seen a dwarf in this city, and I've been living here for, how old is she again? 45 years. So, yes. Occasionally, you might get an order from a dwarf, but yes. They consider themselves craftsmen's far and superior to any elf, let alone a drow.
I'm sorry, I might have been staring a bit. You bear a resemblance to
I'm
someone I
used to
saw
it.
very recently. Oh no, sorry. You remind me of someone I saw very recently.
Oh?
He'll reach into his satchel and pull out the sketch he made of the river thief, and just hold it up and go. I know it's maybe not the best likeness, but do you recognize this person?
To kind of take it and look at it. Much like Fleet did, I'm going to ask you to roll me an intelligence as well.
Should go better for you.
At the mention of dwarves just considering themselves superior craftsmen to elf, with it seemingly no sort of expansion that there's any existing proof of this, I'll have to look at a tad disgruntled, sort of wrinkled face for a moment or two.
All right.
at the idea that
The dwarves just proclaim themselves better craftsmen.
It is very dwarvish thing to do. I'm sorry, I don't think so. The mask, it's kind of obscure. Unless they were, my sister. I couldn't positively ID them, but no, I don't think I've seen them.
you have a
At
sister.
least nothing more than passing. Pardon?
You have a sister.
I did. She and my mother left a long time ago.
No! No! You fucker!
You're alright, Britty?
Sorry to pry, but about how long ago was that?
Oh, about 10 years? They caught, something nasty. Apothecaries couldn't keep up.
Oh, well. Sorry to hear that.
Well, these things happen. It's lucky that Torgan here took me in, really. I was, not quite an adult yet. Didn't really have any trades beyond a bit of sewing, but, he was good enough to take me in.
I'm sorry to hear that. What were their names?
Their names were Lena and Ashrin. So Lena was the mother, Ashrin was the daughter. Or sister, I guess. Can I get you folks any more drinks? Things are taking a bit of a gloomy turn here.
Oh, yeah, I'll have something. Whatever you recommend. I don't really know what's good here.
Well, I'm fond of the wine, but, the ale's good. I've been told. It's not really my thing.
Yeah, I'll try a glass of wine. Fine.
Right.
The ale is weak, but palatable.
I'll pass that on. She'll kind of turn and go to the Torgan, the barman.
I'm so proud.
And yeah, she'll come back over with a glass of wine. That'll be 3 silver.
Oh.
Yeah, she'll hand you the wine.
He's just like staring at it a little bit downtrodden.
Well, hope you enjoy your stay here in Falari. I'll be performing again next week. If you particularly enjoyed it, want to come back. Yeah. And she'll kind of move to go to another table.
When I heard her say, mother and sister ran off a while ago, I sort of got my hopes up.
I would temper your expectations there, Fleet.
Yeah,
This is the
10
This
years
is one of the
ago.
first drow we've spoken to in Falari. And
Yeah, would have been a heck of a coincidence. But
you've got different lockets anyway.
yeah, but it comes from the father. It could have been half sibling. I don't know. You just hear a story like that, it can't be common.
No, it's I'll definitely look into seeing if there is a registry.
Yeah, I'm coming with you. Now that I know it's a unique thing and it's not just going to be everywhere.
You sure? You seem pretty concerned about this fountain blockage.
Oh, well, we gotta do that too. I'm not saying we don't have time for both. We've got until the solstice.
All right. If the rest of you don't mind, I think I might have had enough tonight. Might retire.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's a good place to call it in at. It's been a long day.
Cool.
Indeed.
We were
Sleep
trying
well.
for the evening.
Yeah, I'll
Is it?
try not to die in my sleep. Thanks.
Is everybody retiring?
I believe so.
I did that last week.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
All right. So, if people are finished with this evening, I think we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. See you then. Bye.
Ow.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to
You sounded like
Wrong
you
with
were
It.
dying then, Jesus.
What?
That was a
You
bit
said
of
hello like a dying man. That was
Oh.
terrifying.
I was trying
One
to
day.
breathe and speak at the same time. I don't think I managed it.
One day we'll have a smooth intro.
no.
One day.
Hey,
But it is not
Not
this
while
day.
I'm here, bitch.
J'avais-
I
Oh
do
yeah, no, you are the
be-
prime contributing factor.
I
Thank
do
you.
and be and professional. Yes, hello, welcome back
I am
to
speaking English, but yes.
Gaecia. Yes, so you just all had an interesting evening of various forms, both in Dark Prophecy and Exotic Dancing. No, not Exotic Dancing, just dancing. Sorry.
Previously unsaid sentences in human history.
Yes, and so you were all retiring upstairs for the evening. You may all take your long rest.
Face is gonna haunt my dreams.
No. You don't. Nobody has any spooky dreams, unless they're self-inflicted.
I feel like
She's just thinking on this woman's face. Why does it look familiar? It's gonna bug her to the end of the earth.
Sure.
I was gonna say I feel like Arlath might be prime target for spooky dream.
I mean, you could have a spooky dream, but it'd be a standardized spooky dream that you've already had
Not
several
a-
times.
Not a
Today's
prophetic
gonna-
one.
Just like a oh my
Oh.
god.
Oh, that's
Oh.
dangerous.
Oh.
Combat, please.
Yes, so the day will dawn on the 14th of Olidoin. Fleet, well, all of you be aware of this, but any fleet would be thinking about it. Tomorrow is the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. It cold, boys. Yeah.
The
So
first one
eventually
down.
you all kind of, regroup yourselves in kind of the parlor room of this tavern for breakfast and stuffs. The day is ahead of you.
Okay, just because we're a bit caught for time, I think shopping's gonna have to take a sidebar. I think we need to. One, I really want to do research on these crest things. I want to know where the nine hells this comes from, and we should probably unblock the channel before tomorrow.
Let's go and do some plumbing.
Well, it'll be worth at least seeing if they're actually willing to pay us for this.
Here, I'll lead the way. I know where it is.
So making your way to the shrine then.
Back to the shrine.
So
Urashi, do not die. Vigilant blessing on Ash.
Ash
Thank you
gets
very much.
advantage.
It just lasts
He
until
fucking
it's
needs it.
it just lasts until it's used. It's brilliant.
yeah.
Wait, like,
Wait.
it lasts like. How long's it? Wait, so what?
Until
an-
you take
as
a
an
rest
action-
or until the next
Yeah.
initiative.
As an action, I give one creature I touch advantage on the next initiative roll it makes. This benefit ends immediately after the roll, or if you use this feature again. So, like, you could go like 32 years not making an initiative roll, and then when you do, you've got it at advantage.
I love that. That's amazing.
I know, right?
Okay. Yes, so Fleet leads you through town to this incredibly peculiar, just random cave entrance in the middle of the street. And then she will guide you to the long steps, and you will all descend for the several hundred feet into the ground that this shrine seems to be down under.
Whoever built this place clearly didn't have much of an eye for the local aesthetic.
Whoever
This is
thought of
all
getting
underground.
It's not
Great.
meant to be seen. It's meant to be useful. Arlath, you get it, don't you?
It is beautiful in its pragmatism.
Well, I'm glad somebody understands.
All right. So yes, eventually you make your way to the bottom of the steps, possibly slightly out of breath. Yes, you'll kind of come across 10 again. He would kind of just wandering out of the living quarters and kind of spot you, Fleet. It's great to see you again. I'm so glad you decided to come back. Yeah, are these your companions?
Yes, these are the people we're all traveling together.
I
Wanted
see.
to get the channel unblocked and flowing again before the solstice.
Yes, as I say, the trail goes on for miles. You could be there for all day, possibly all overnight as well. 2 days. It's difficult to say. As I say, those tunnels haven't really been traveled for almost 600 years. For all I know, they could have collapsed in on themselves. But it's awfully great of you
I feel like
to
Arleth will have some
offer to
things to
go.
say about that construction if it collapses with only a few hundred years.
I mean, yeah. You had breakfast? I'm sure we could whip you up something. It won't be much, but it'll keep you full.
We've eaten. Thanks. I know my friend might have been rather understandably distracted yesterday, given what I understand of the conversation you had. I don't suppose there's compensation for this.
Well, we don't have a lot. I might be able to find something to repay you with.
You mentioned the caverns were old and
Yeah.
mostly unexplored.
Well, not explored recently, certainly. I mean, they were used in the construction of the shrine. But beyond that,
Are they considered grounds of the shrine, or were we to come across some historical curiosities?
no,
I'm
the
asking if
shrine
we're
is the fountain itself. I mean, the stream, I guess, is almost part of the shrine, but that's the bit you're unblocking, so not really.
Look,
sure, if you do find anything, keep it. Yeah, be my guest.
Yeah, look, I hadn't seen the shrine when I was considering this question in the morning, and the more I look around, the worse I feel about asking, so I'm just gonna forget it, okay?
Okay, I will try my hardest to get some things together. I appreciate it.
Please don't trouble yourself.
There's no need.
I feel Fleet's eyes boring into the back of my neck.
The seeing at the end of this will be payment enough. We appreciate it.
I hope it will be. Do you want me to show you to the entrances?
Yes, please.
All right. Come, fella. And he'll kind of guide you up the steps. So back up, possibly about 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes. 50 feet. There you go. How do I go from 50 feet to 5 minutes? Yes, and there'll be kind of it's almost, you didn't notice it on your way down, but it's kind of a door made out of the stone. You can just about see the kind of traces where the kind of two meet. So it kind of meets and comes almost flush with the wall, especially in the dim light. It's difficult to see. He kind of puts his shoulder against it, kind of, and it kind of slowly starts to open. He seems to be straining quite a bit. It does seem to be just a slab of stone that he's pushing.
Alath will just sort of rest a hand against it as well and just push.
Sure, athletics check.
Does powerful build count for anything?
That gives you advantage on strength stuff, or
it gives me double carry capacity.
Double carry and hauling and pushing capacity.
Yeah,
sure. So we'll say advantage. That makes sense to me, especially since it counts like size larger and stuff.
Wow, well done, Alath. Nice and consistent.
I mean, yeah, you kind of put your hand in, kind of, it moves decidedly faster. Ten is not a burly guy.
Oh,
Yes. A door will kind of slide open and you just see, or can we describe it as a natural passageway through the rock.
so unexplored. Is there a particular reason for that?
I mean, we don't really have much use for it. I mean, the shrine was placed here partially because of, the crap that lets in the natural light and obviously this easy access to the stream. This is all natural caverns. They were, ventured through to originally connect the shrine to the stream. But as I
600
say,
years, and this is never
600
happened.
years, no. Unless some, attendant got bored, but I can't imagine they went more than a few hundred feet.
Well, that bodes well. Right there.
Hang on. Wait a second, and he'll kind of hop back down the stairs, and kind of after a minute he'll come running back up, bearing a torch. It seems to be similar to the ones you've seen elsewhere. Felix and Yav would probably recognize it as a ever-burning torch. Basically, the torch will just burn continually. There's a small cap to put over it so you can cover it so it doesn't shed light, but you can just have it and it'll burn forever.
I'll look back at Arlath. Just kind of tap the side of my head.
Journey.
I'll look back at Arlath, tap the side of my head, just say, "How do you do in the dark?"
Excellently.
Sorry, what was that?
Excellently.
Thanks for the offer. I think we're actually all right for illumination.
Reminder that this is going to be pitch blackness, so it'll be treated as dim light, so disadvantage on perception checks.
I think a torch is still a
Dark vision.
good idea.
Just a reminder of how the rules work.
Perhaps having it on hand could be useful.
It's not hard to Latin unlight it if we need to be quieter for some reason.
Phoenix just chuckles, knowing what an everlasting torch is, and going, "Go on, Fleet, try and unlight it."
Well, I figured you would do it. You're good with fire. Fire's not my thing.
What, you just assume because he is fire ganassi, he knows how fire works?
Yes! Exactly!
Wow, Fleet. Wow.
Did you just assume his element?
God damn it.
Alright. Are you taking the torch or not?
I'm taking it, but like cap on for the most
Sure.
part.
Okay. Oh, well, I'll leave the door open. Good luck, I guess. Oh, hang on. He'll kind of briefly go along and tap each of you on the forehead once. And basically, next skill check or attack roll you make, you can add a d4 to it. It's a variation of some blessing version of guidance.
Thank you.
My God, this guy can hold 5 concentrations at once.
What a...
But it's not strictly the spell, it's
The ultimate power.
me
like
being
a-
loose and fast.
Yeah,
With
it's
the
like
ruler.
a lesser blessing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like a 5th level bless, I guess.
Fifth level bless, but it lasts for a little bit more than a minute. So we're fine.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Excellently in the Dark, I guess you're taking the lead then.
After you.
Well, for an hour, I can have a share in my gift.
Might want to save that for a bit further on.
Yeah, if this is gonna take us all day, let's be careful with that.
And I guess Arlath will start plodding along.
Alright, remind me how your dark vision thingy works again.
I've got
You're
300
popping
feet
down.
of it, and
Yeah.
as an action, I can share it with up to 3 creatures.
But it's still regular dark vision.
Yeah, it's still regular dark vision, but
Yeah,
I've
so
just
it's
got
still
300
dim light
feet's
for you
worth.
there.
But it's 300 feet instead of 60.
Yeah.
Jesus!
It still counts as dim light instead of
Yeah.
bright light.
Quick, multi-class into Warlock and grab Eldritch Spear.
Okay.
I still love the fact that Fire Ganassi are very specifically called out as seeing in shades of red.
Yeah, I know.
It's just permanent bloodlust.
I just have to believe is Wizards very, very much edging back up to the idea of having infravision, like they did in earlier editions, but they just aren't quite willing to cross the line.
Yeah. All right. So, our marching order is Alaf, then
Ash, why not?
Ooh.
Oh my god,
No.
my voice just cracked like a prepubescent boy.
Okay, now who's dying?
Fleet will take the middle.
Alaf, Ash.
Yareth can bring up the rear.
You haven't short rested.
Why is Fleet going on?
I don't know.
I am large.
Mega Fleet.
She is large.
She gives the Resident Evil woman a run for her money.
I'm
Lady
assuming I
Mystery.
should have full health, shouldn't I?
Yeah,
We
Lady
did just
long
take a real
rested.
big nap.
You've gotten a couple rests in before our last
I'm
combat.
still on a half because I forgot to update my sheet.
All right.
Oh, yeah,
So
by the
we're
way,
leaving Yareth at the back then.
has Ash updated to level 5? Is it
She has
important?
not.
question? Right.
I'm an idiot.
Oh my god. Okay.
Don't worry. Continue.
Okay, so you're leaving Yareth at the back.
Sure.
Yes.
Why not?
Okay, so
Let's just not
Is it,
kill
um,
Yareth while he's not here.
Oh, that was shit.
Is the passage one abreast, or
it varies. So there'll be times when so as you start your journey, so initially it's kind of just a corridor wide. So you could stand to abreast if you want. But there'll be times when you have to, take off your bags and shuffle along sideways and pass them through. It is a natural cavern. It is not easily easy to navigate. I
Navigable?
can't speak tonight. Navigable.
So, it's something similar to that word.
Yeah, sure.
Clumsy foot time.
Yes. Okay.
is there anything other than the kind of natural cavern? Any writing, glyphs? Anything
Perception. Disadvantage because you don't have the torch out, I'm assuming. Unless you do have the torch out. It just looks like rock.
Heck yeah, Phoenix. You consistent lad.
Yeah. So you journey for a few hours, probably to the point where after coming across a almost suitably large enough space, you decide to stop and have your evening meal. Lunchtime meal. Here you go, lunch. I'm just not with it today.
Mark
And then you kind of keep on going. It is very claustrophobic. Even those of you who generally would not consider yourselves claustrophobic probably start to feel a little uncomfortable after the walls being this close around you for this length of time, and the knowledge of how far back until you get to even a remotely open space, and the thought of all that rock just existing above you. You probably start to feel it a little bit.
And are we following a stream, or is it just a bare cavern passage?
So, kind of up to the point where you have lunch, it just seemed to be one continual passage. There wasn't a great deal to kind of suggest there's another way to go. However, early afternoon, kind of 2:30-ish, you come across a fork.
Oh, fuck. What are we going to do now?
So the
The
kind of direction you have been traveling splits off into diagonal direction.
we're looking for a stream, so maybe one of the people with better ears want to listen out for some water.
I'll attempt to try and listen to the sound of running water.
I'll have a listen.
Sure. If you're listening, it won't be disadvantaged because you can't hear worse in the dark. I'm
Do
assuming.
you want rolls from both of us, or just
We'll
from
call
Fleet?
it group check, so however you want it.
I can do advantage. I've got a +6. Oh no! All right.
Oh, I'm using an inspiration on that.
I think I hear everything. Personally.
Oh, no, never mind. I'm not.
Okay.
There's a look on Fleet's face that suggests it's going to be fine.
Yeah, so Fleet, you kind of move to the front of the pack, and you kind of cock your head and listen. And you just about hear in the far distance the slightest trickle. As you kind of start to slowly wander over to the passageway where you hear this noise, your foot catches in something on the floor, and you kind of bring it up, crouch down, and have a look. It seems to be a carved out channel that kind of just cuts directly across the path from one wall to the other. Kind of from the way it's angled, you're pretty sure that's the way we want to be going.
Well, I heard a little bit of water, but I think I found the right way.
Is there water flowing through this channel?
No, it's blocked.
Well, I was determining if that was ahead or behind us.
Okay. So you kind of, now you've picked up on this trickle, you kind of keep wandering for about 5-10 minutes, and it gets louder and louder, and the rest of you can kind of hear it. And eventually you come across a natural pool. Seemingly, whatever water is flowing through this channel, some of it also collected in this pool. While the channel is dry, what was in the pool is still there. Presumably hasn't drained out yet. That is what you imagine the rippling you heard was the movement of this small pool, very slowly draining into the rock. But as you keep on going,
I mean, is there anything in the pool, or is it just water?
Investigation. Yeah, so as you kind of look down into it, there's a lot of loose rock at the very bottom. And judging from the rock immediately around you and the rock at the bottom of this pool, you don't think it's the same type of rock. You reckon, presumably this rubble was placed in here, and presumably that's why this pool is draining very slowly because of this blockage.
Do I think this pool is supposed to be draining into the channel?
So the pool does not drain into the channel. It's kind of a small fault in the channel drains into this pool.
I think we found the problem.
No, this is ancillary, and he will kind of poke his staff in, move some of the rubble around.
It's like opening a plug. You hear that whoosh, and the water starts to move a bit faster.
Anything in the rubble?
Just about per se make out the level of the water decreasing. As you look around the rubble, I mean, yeah, you just see, it's all of this one rock type. There's nothing buried in amongst it.
Once the water's drained lower than some of it, he'll grab a small piece of the rubble.
Sure. You go like a fist-sized rock, something like that. Okay. No, you rolled 19. As you kind of take out, you have a quick glance at it. If you didn't know better, you'd say this was mined, purely from the shape of it. However, there are not the nicks, scratches, and dents you would expect from if it had been mined using tools. But yes, you start to carry on. And after about an hour after the pull, I would like Arlath, because he's at the front, and one other person to make me perception checks, please.
I can go again. Dice gods giveth. The dice gods taketh away.
Nice.
There's not a disadvantage, there's the hearing one. I should
Oh,
have-
hearing. Cool.
Yes, I probably should have said that.
You got a 21? Look at you go.
Yeah.
I have activated my ears.
As you've been making your way on, you start to hear slight echoes coming from up ahead. You think you hear things moving. It's difficult to say how close they are, because things will just echo almost forever in these caves, depending on how they're shaped. You probably reckon, though, no more than half an hour's journey ahead of you.
There appears to be something moving ahead of us.
Thanks. Taps the ground, casts mage armor.
We're about to find the cause of this blockage.
Well, that would certainly be convenient. Should we be approaching with?
On we go. Yeah.
Should we be approaching with due caution? Perhaps a bit of stealth?
I think being quiet will help, yeah.
Pointedly looking at the guy in heavy armor.
Yeah, I'll just be like, stealth is not my forte. I could perhaps act as a distraction to those of you who wish to indulge, but otherwise they are half an hour away by my ear. I have no intention
At
of...
maximum half an hour away. It could be a lot closer.
I'll ask an optimist.
Sure.
I have no intention of slowing myself down on this endeavor. And to do so would be detrimental to the rest of you anyway. And he'll just continue walking.
Okay.
You may want to keep the light ready.
Stealth is averaged. So someone rolls well, they heap up, so when he rolls poorly.
There is another reason not to wear armor. Alaf.
Lead
Right,
on
so
from
Arlath's
their
not being
analog
sneaky.
stuff here.
Who is being stealthy, or is no one?
I mean, I'm gonna try. Oh, for fuck's sake, Nat! Look, see, proof.
Huh?
Oh, there we
God
go.
Damn it!
Oh, I have so thoroughly been
You're
proven
better
wrong.
than I won. Fuck you.
Yeah, Phoenix will try and walk quietly.
Ash, despite wearing basically only furs and leathers. Ash clank.
Ash just kicking rocks
Or
the whole
you
day
kick
down.
a rock and you whack your head and you go, fuck. That kind of thing. All right.
How accommodating is this for Arlath at 7'6"?
Uh,
Am I crouching for most of this?
There's probably periods when you don't have to crouch, but there's probably times when you are called on to duck your head. Times when you all have to properly crouch to get through. I'll roll stealthy Yareth since I'm not here. 9.
Oh, look at him go.
Cool. Okay.
So the back half of the column's pretty stealthy.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. They're further away. Okay. So as you start to approach quietly, these noises get louder, and all of you can hear them better. A lot of it seems somewhat rhythmical, almost as if something, presumably rock, is being struck reasonably hard with something else quite hard, possibly another rock. There are a few instances, so there's kind of a few patterns that overlap. There's a da 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 da, and then there's a da da da, and then they kind of overlaps da 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 da. But you can kind of pick out these individual things. From the sound of it, I'm gonna need someone to make an intelligence check to guess how many noise sources there might be.
Well, Mr. Smarty Pants, all yours.
Anywhere from 3 to about 12 is your guess. It's difficult to say. You're kind of listening to these patterns, trying to isolate them, and you just get muddled up.
Expect a reasonable group.
All right.
Well, hopefully reasonable, not only in size, but also in talking. Maybe we can figure out what's going on.
Right. So you're just marching on?
Well, for
Sorry for
those of us
those
who are
usually being stealthy.
for those of us who are quiet, probably.
Would you allow Phoenix to ritually cast while moving?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, if we've got 10 minutes left until confrontation, he'll attempt to cast Comprehend Languages.
I mean, some of you are walking slowly. Anyway, being stealthy, I'm sure you could persuade Arlaf to take a minute to kind of head on to bump it out to the 10 minutes. Sure. Yeah, okay. Can you pop Comprehend Languages up for me, just to remind myself how it works? Literal meaning, any spatial language you hear. Read line range, but you must be touching. Okay. That's
Secret.
okay, so it's VS and M, so you'll probably be
Just
using your
quietly
B
murmuring.
as you do it, so you'll be speaking aloud. Yeah, I'd say you couldn't ritually cast and be stealthy.
That's fine.
Verbal component.
There's enough people that it shouldn't matter. He'll abandon
Right.
stealth.
Okay. Yeah, so you
There's enough
keep
people
going.
it shouldn't matter, he says, when one of them rolled a 1 and the other one rolled a 5.
All
What
right.
do you mean, roll the
So,
one?
Arla doesn't even try to be stealthy.
I'm not being stealthy.
okay, so Arlaf, leading the party, is the plan just to walk up to this noise.
Yep.
All right.
Enough.
As you get closer, these noises get louder, kind of the rhythmical of kind of stone on stone. Phoenix kind of you just as your comprehend language ticks, you start to hear it's almost a song.
I mean, if it's Terran, I can understand that anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost a song. It's this kind of. It's not a song kind of sung. It's almost closer to a rap in that it is non-melodious, but that the interest comes through the rhythm, along with kind of the spoken meaning of what's being said, and you kind of hear this rhythmical crashing. It seems to be the song. And you kind of pause for a moment to listen before Arlaf stalks in. It seems to be just a kind of generic mining song. So it's just kind of talking of loving of earth, the wealth that comes from it, the feeling of being secure, wrapped within a stony blanket. Those are kind of the couple of lines you get before Arlaf turns the corner and sees.
Heck.
Okay. Arrayed out ahead of you, you kind of see down this narrow channel, you see a variety of interesting creatures. As you walk a bit forward before they seemingly notice you, they seem quite sluggish. No pun intended.
They're not a bit snailish.
Oh, shoot,
no.
intended. I'm impressed.
The largest creatures are these snail-like things. They've got about 5 different ice stalks, and kind of the end of each one there is it's almost like a stony mace with a kind of a gem for an eye in it, and so these that are being used to strike against the wall in this rhythm called. The shell is glistening. It is almost crystalline in nature. It looks. I mean, you probably don't appreciate it that much, but it looks pretty. I imagine someone would pay a lot of money just to have that sat in their noble's house. These creatures almost seem to be horned statues. They are seemingly just carved out of stone, and they move kind of creakingly. And they are designed almost like animalistic humanoids. So kind of got, goat horns and bat wings, almost dog legs, stuff like that. And then more numerous, there are these much smaller entities, almost clouds of smoke or dust, perhaps more accurately, kind of given life as they kind of float around. They'll kind of pick up a lump of rock, and kind of the dust will close in and move incredibly quickly, and then kind of grow apart again, kind of plopping out the bottom. Will come this now incredibly polished kind of gemstone, which then seems to be passed on to these oozy, clay-like, muddy type things that seem to be kind of running around, collecting them, stacking them in piles. As you barge in, the work will stop, and all these things will turn and look at you, Arlath.
Fleet, just want to pop yourself on the map.
And that would be, I think, a good time to stop. I don't think we have time for combat.
Look, we have a large fleet.
I am still big.
Again, she is large.
Large fleet. Too powerful.
Let me change that. Okay, yes. So, we'll be picking up next time
Like some snails, boys.
with a combat. I should also like to point out, from this room, there seems to be a continuation of passage. It's just not on the map.
Or
The language I heard them singing in, was it Terran?
It comprehend language. It doesn't say that you
I mean,
know what language it is.
Phoenix naturally understands Primordial.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Likewise.
Yes, of course. Yes, it's Terran.
I completely forgot that Arlath, probably not hearing it, but still also understands Primordial. Common
Yes.
and Giant as well.
Cool, yes. So the kind of dialect of Terran is this noises created by the rapping of stone on stone, whereas Primordial itself is kind of this go-between language that is actually verbalized.
Yeah, it's like Esperanto.
The
The elements. Elementor. No, it's not there. Elementaranto? Blah. Not good.
Eleranto.
Eleranto. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that will be where we'll be ending things tonight.
Sick.
Okay.
I enjoyed that.
Change the music.
I don't know why I sound surprised about that, because I always do, but thanks, Ferret. That was fun.
we gotta.
Yeah, do you remember how I was worrying that I might not have enough stuff? I was going to have to change stuff.
We'll be fine.
I forgot.
You
what
did
chaos
maybe a
that was.
third of what I had planned.
But we almost took you a
that's
bunch
just
of
me
stuff that you
overplanning
didn't have
it.
planned.
Yeah.
So we're very good at derailing stuff.
Yeah.
You didn't derail, you just had fun RPing.
That damn drow lady. I gotta know who she is.
Yeah. Alright, so,
Officially.
thank you for watching.
Nothing. No, ignore me.
Okay.
Mumbling to myself.
Okay, we'll quickly do inspiration. So while Fleet puts the poll in the chat, For those of you who might not know, at the end of the game, I like to give a little reward to players who had particularly great RP, someone who made a funny joke, whatever. And so we award that by having a vote, both from the players and because we're streaming among you, the audience. And whoever wins the vote gets a point of inspiration. I do inspirationally, different to how it is in the DMG. It's more like a luck point where you see a roll, you're like, no, I do not like that roll. I want to re-roll it. And then you spend an inspiration, then you get to re-roll it instead of just giving you advantage before you see what you've rolled, which is stupid in my opinion. But yes, so starting with Mr. Nat, who are you voting for?
I have to go with Britty this week.
All right, Britty. Lumie.
Oh, I'm a little bit torn. Part of me wants to say Phoenix because I'm enjoying seeing him having a slightly more friendly side. But I think given the content of the session, it's going to have to be Britty as well.
2 for Britty. Mr. Matt.
I am going with Lumie, specifically for the phrase femboy elf hooters.
Thank you very much. Actually, yeah.
Peak.
You can't vote for yourself. And Britty.
My vote's gonna go to the DM because we get to see a little bit of behind the scenes stuff before the stream. I know that you have been frazzled as of late, so I wanted to give this as a thank you for all of the hard work you do to make this campaign work and all of the behind the scenes stuff you're doing with the, well, a big thank you.
Britty, keep throwing the boot won't stop a boulder being dropped on Fleet. I hope you know that.
I can try!
Okay. Yeah, so to Britty gets it, Fleet. You get yourself a point of inspiration. Alright. Okay, yes, so as I hope you enjoyed. If you want, you can check out our YouTube, where VODs will be uploaded. I am behind. I am slowly uploading them faster than we make them. Slowly.
We're getting there.
I will get there in time. Follow our Twitter for announcements and stuff like when we go live, when VODs are uploaded, stuff like that, at rolling_with_it. Any feedback you can offer is greatly appreciated. We don't know what's wrong unless you tell us, and then we can try our very best to fix it.
Or we can say to fuck off, one of the two.
Well,
Probably.
if it's useful feedback, we probably won't.
We're probably gonna appreciate the feedback.
Yes. We have a second stream on Saturdays, 8 o'clock UK time as well, where we discuss past VODs and hopefully eventually the game that we played the week before, or in that week. Yeah, so we just have a bit of a chat, talk the game, talk about D&D in general, stuff like that. It's a bit more chill. So that's Saturdays, 8 o'clock.
Should be an interesting one on Saturday, seeing as the topic of
Yes.
discussion will invariably be episode 8.
Yes, the unexpected tea party. If you've not watched that VOD, I would recommend it.
Be good to get a bit of a full house on that one.
I will be here on Saturday to discuss that.
I am unfortunately working. Saturday after, I think I'm free.
Ooh, okay. We might do episode 9 as well, but we'll probably mostly spend most of our time in episode 8, because that's the chunky one. Yes. I'd say if you enjoy the stream, share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your grandma. Someone's got to have a grandma who likes D&D out there. Thank you very much.
Draw poll?
Yes. I get into a rhythm. It is 50-50 between Felix and Fleet. I decide ties. Fleet already got one. Take it away, Phoenix.
I almost voted for Phoenix as well, so.
Cool. I'm already up to my inspiration max, so I'm gonna bounce that back to the DM.
Aww. Now I am at max. Oh, I got to start using these.
Oh,
Yeah, oh, sorry.
No, go on, Matt, you first.
I was gonna say I very much almost gave mine to Matt as well, purely for the Althea watch my Yareth watch my drink line, and I was like, ah,
that hurt. That hurt.
That did hurt. Do you guys
Alright.
want the highlights from my notes from today? Given that we've been taking the piss about how shit my notes are.
Oh, absolutely.
First line. I missed a bit and have no idea where we are. It's somewhere in the north. Next bit. Full capital letters. Femboy Hooters, but D&D.
Yeah, but we didn't really get that, sadly.
As opposed to all those real world femboy hooters.
No,
I know there was one fanboy.
Phoenix is a little shit and orders Ash vegetarian food. And then at the bottom, we watched some cool dancing. Ash is gay now. That's pretty much my notes.
This is the quality D&D content you guys tune in for.
Oh
Yep.
dear.
100%.
Makes me
I
feel
love
great
this.
that that's
They're
those are your takeaways from my session.
Excuse me, there was actually a whole page of notes.
This is just
My whole
this is
page
just
of notes-
the shit posting notes.
Yeah, my notes are shit, despite my best efforts. So if I at least do them in a way that makes me remember the kind of session vibe at the time, then that's a good start, because when I read them, I
sure.
remember more. That's the
Sure.
theory!
Okay. Yes. So, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully, see you again soon. Bye bye.
Ciao.
Everyone.
Bye.